I remember, I don't watch sports as much as I used to, but I remember Bill Parcells. I believe he was head coach of the Giants, but I'm aware of him when he was head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. When there was a game that a team was expected to win and everything was in their favor, he would hold up the mousetrap because the game was a trap, meaning it's so easy to assume that you have it in the bag, that you're going to let your guard down and it's going to be easier for the other team to have an upset. So he would know on the schedule which games would be considered trap games, and he would make sure that he was mentally preparing his team for those moments. When it comes to us, and if you're on this process of eating healthy and trying to pursue your fitness, there's a lot of traps there as well, and it's specifically catered around this idea of cheat meals. A lot of times we think about a cheat meal because we've been very disciplined, maybe throughout the week, eating clean, exercising, and so we want to reward ourselves with something that we know isn't going to fuel our bodies, but maybe just feed us spiritually, emotionally, which isn't wrong at all. Sometimes we need those things. I know I need those things, but those are huge traps. And the reason they're huge traps is because obviously when we're having a cheat meal, we're not pursuing something that's plant-based, whole foods. Typically it's processed, it's refined, there's a lot of sugar in it. And when you're eating these type of foods, they're not just regular foods, they're foods that are addictive. It's no accident that when you have Oreos one day, you crave it the next day, and then maybe you'll crave it the day after. And it could be a little bit of a tail end before all of these cravings actually disappear. And that's how these foods work. There's a great book called Salt, Sugar, Fat that really talks about this in detail. They can adjust any of these ingredients, any of these macronutrients, whatever it may be, to just completely set your brain off. They would look at it in a scan and they would see that for some people's brains off of some of these sugared processed foods, they didn't look any different than somebody who was doing cocaine. Their brains lit up in the exact same type of way. So it's not like you're eating freeze-dried fruits or dehydrated kale chips or something like that, where you're eating it and as soon as you feel that you're done, you just put the bag away and that's that. No, when you're eating these potato chips, for example, Doritos, the sour cream and onions, the Ruffles, not only are you gonna eat that bag, you're gonna wonder where the next one is and where the next one is. And sometimes it could take a little bit for you to stop thinking about these foods because you're playing with fire in terms of the fact that they just instill additional cravings that make you want more and more and more. And so the way I like to think about it is part of our many disciplines that we're pursuing in this journey, the discipline to get up and go to the gym, the discipline to make sure that we're eating healthy foods that are going to fuel our fitness efforts. The other one is going to be making sure that we're turning the faucet off just as quickly as we turn it on. I wouldn't fault you for turning it on. Again, I do it myself, but we have to have that extra gear that says, okay, after I had this cheat meal, I'm able to cut it off and get back to my regularly scheduled program. After I went on this vacation and I just decided to go with the flow because I'm with family, or there's a lot of restaurants here that I chose to explore different types of foods. Now that I'm back home, I'm turning the faucet off and I'm getting back to my regular discipline. I think the more that we could refine that skill of just turning the faucet off, the easier it's going to be to actually achieve our fitness goals, because what happens is the gaps between our workouts can get longer and longer. Everybody can start. Everybody does start, but But after a few weeks or a few months, something happens, they fall off, they stop pursuing their fitness, and then the gaps get longer and longer. But one hand is always going to wash the other. When you're working out, you're more inspired to eat clean. When you're eating clean, you're more inspired to work out, because it's that combination that helps you see results. And in my experience personally and with other people, nothing is going to push you further than seeing results. So when you fall out of that phase, it's easy to put all of this on the back burner. So just remember, it's a practice of compassion, right? And self-care. You're not beating yourself up for having needs. You're not beating yourself up for telling yourself that you were going to go 30 days without eating quote unquote junk food, and then you had something on the weekends, so maybe this isn't for you. You're just going to understand that you needed to have it. Your body was craving for it. You went after it. But now that's done, and now you're going to get back to what's going to be aligned with your long-term future goals. So that's it for this one. I wanted to talk about it because I know every time that I end up having a cheat meal, I want to turn it into a cheat weekend or something like this. And the better I got at honing the skill of cutting it off, the quicker I was able to see results. So I just want to share that for you as well, if you have experienced this or may have been in a similar predicament. If you have, share a comment below. Would love to know what you think about this subject, and I'll talk to you next time.